All right, welcome to our first RP1, 7th grade RP1 video on unit rates. Unit rates is the fundamental concept for this entire standard. So I want to start here to make sure everyone's on the same page about what a unit rate is. A unit rate is really just a math term that means per what. How many miles per hour did I drive? How many points per game did I score? How much is the cost of bananas per pound? Being able to figure out those things can help us get better deals at the supermarket. It can help us compare athletes more accurately. It can help us solve a variety of real-world problems. So I want to make sure we're on the same page of what a unit rate is, and then we're going to calculate unit rates. So here we can see two examples where we start off with this fraction right here. I have 60 miles in 3 hours. Somebody drove 60 miles in 3 hours. And then in the next step, I just simplified that fraction. Well, 60 over 3 is really just 20 over 1. And in that simplification, or in that division, we found the unit rate. They drove 20 miles per hour. So somebody who travels 60 miles in 3 hours is driving 20 miles per hour. That's pretty slow for driving. Let's look at a second example here. Somebody typed 40 words in 2 minutes. Okay, we're looking at how much someone can type per minute. And again, we simplified the fraction as 20 words for 1 minute, which is really somebody's typing 20 words per minute, per 1 minute, right? That is the unit rate. It's that simple concept that a unit rate per one can help us solve the next upcoming real-world problem. So write whatever you need to write down in the unit rate section of your notes that helps you understand and remember that unit rate means per one. Okay, and I'm going to change the slide, and we're going to move on to our first example. Ivanye scores 70 points in 4 basketball games. How many points is she averaging per game? So when I solve this question, I first want to know, what am I talking about? Well, we're talking about points per game. And when I write this out as a fraction, or as a ratio, because remember, fractions and ratios are really just the same thing. Well, I'm worried about her points. And you can think about the fraction line. This fraction line really is just a division symbol, or per. It can literally mean the word per. So I have points per game. That's how I'm going to write it out. Points per game. Now that I've written this out, with the word ratio, I can start to plug in the numbers. Well, she scored 70 points. Okay, so I can put 70 right here. She scores 70 points. And in 4 games, so I can put 4 here. So we have 70 over 4. It's always important to remember that this fraction line is just a division line, right? 1 over 2, 1/2, really just means 1 divided by 2. Okay, so this is a division line. The fraction line is a division line. That is such a powerful concept for kids to understand, to really deeply understand what a fraction is. So when I see 70 divided by 4, if I want to figure out one game, it's just a division problem. So I can set this up as a division problem. 70 divided by 4. Okay, and I'm going to start dividing. I'm going to show the long division. I won't always show computation in these videos, but this time I'm going to show it. 4 goes into 7 once, so I put a 1 there. 4 times 1 is 4. 3, we drop the 0 down, we have 30. 4 goes into 30 7 times. And 4 times 7 is 28. There's some space left over, so I'm going to need to put a decimal here and add a couple zeros so that I can get an accurate answer. So I'm going to 30 minus 28 is 2. Drop one of those zeros down. How many times does 4 go into 20? Well, it goes in 5 times. So the answer is 17.5. Okay? She is scoring 17.5 points per game on average. Well, a lot of you might be thinking, that was a really complicated way. I already knew how to do that. 70 divided by 4, of course that's how you do it. And you got 17.5. But being able to set up these ratios will set you up for success in future problems. So I want you to be able to set it up this way and understand it. You can solve the you-do next. So the way this works is I will put up the you-do problem. You pause the video, solve the question, and then unpause the video to check your answer with mine. So go ahead and pause. Okay, hopefully you're unpaused now and you've solved the you-do question. If you have not solved the you-do question, please solve it now and then restart the video. But I'm going to get started. Angel buys 5 shirts for a total of $160. How much did she spend per shirt? Well, again, I have to say, what am I talking about? I want to know how much she spends per shirt. How much is one shirt? So, spends per shirt. Spends indicates money, right? So I'm going to have her money, or the cost, whatever you want to write there, money or cost, per, remember this fraction line can mean per / division, shirt. We have money over shirts. Now I need to make sure I accurately align these two these numbers here. I need to put money with money and shirts with shirts. So this 160 is money. So it needs to go on the top here. And this 5 shirts, the 5 goes with shirts, so it needs to go here. And again, I can see it. 160, and this fraction line, again, means division. Such an important concept, so I'm going to keep saying it. Saying 160 divided by 5. That's how I can figure out the cost per shirt. So I'm going to set that up. 160 divided by 5. And this time I'll go through the division faster, right? So 5 goes into 1 0 times. 5 goes into 16 3 times. I'm setting up the division. 5 goes into 10 twice. And I can see that it is $32, right? $32 per shirt. So if you buy one shirt at this rate, it's going to cost $32. So I'll leave that up for a second. Go ahead and pause if you need to take the notes. And we'll get ready for example 2 here. Let me change the slide. Okay, example 2. This is where we're going to compare unit rates, right? I want to know if David makes $150 in 4 hours of work, and Navia makes $85 in 2 hours of work, who is making more per hour? Anytime I'm comparing things when I show work, I like to split wherever I'm doing my work in half. So I'm going to draw this, and I'm going to write David over here. I'm going to show that work there, and I'm going to show Navia right here. Okay, so I'm going to start with David. We want to know how much money he's making per hour. Again, I'm going to set up a ratio. Money per, again the line means per, hour. How much money is he making per hour? So I'm going to look at David's information now. The 150, that's clearly money. I'm going to put it here. The hours, 4, put here. And again, the fraction line just means division. So I'm going to do 150 divided by 4. I'll put that right here. 150 divided by 4. Again, I'll show the math pretty quick. That's 3. Okay, so we're going to get a decimal answer here. 4 goes into 37 times. Sorry, this is a 3. So 37, 28. This decimal comes up. You get 2, drop down the 0, 37.5. So David is making 30, and I'm sorry, that is a 37.5 if you can't read it. David is making $37.50 per hour. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this Navia. Navia makes $85 in 2 hours. So let's look at it. Okay, again, I want to do money per hour. Okay, so I'm going to set it up as money over hour. I'm going to line up 85, which clearly goes with money here. And I get 85, 2 clearly goes with hours, over 2. And I'm going to solve. Again, this thing, 85 divided by 2. 85 divided by 2. Well, 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 5 twice. And again, I need to add some decimals here. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So Navia is making $42.50 per hour. Now the final step is to make sure I am answering the question, because I have 2 numbers. Well, the question says who makes more per hour, and by how much? So I know Navia makes more, so I'm going to write Navia. But I want to know by how much. And to figure out by how much more, I need to do subtractions. I'm going to do some subtraction right here. She makes 42.5. David makes 37.5. And I'll subtract. 5 minus 5, I get 0. 2 minus 7, I got to borrow. So 12 minus 7, we get 5.0, or $5, right? Navia makes $5 an hour more than David does. So the answer is Navia by $5. Okay? If you need to rewind and check that back out, because I know I went through some of those steps quickly, go ahead and do that. If not, I'm about to erase this, so pause it if you need to write some stuff down, or if you're ready to move on to the you-do, go ahead and pause and try that now. Okay, go ahead and unpause. Well, you already unpaused if you have started the you-do. If you haven't done the you-do, please pause, and we're going to solve this question. A butterfly can fly 30 meters in 4 seconds. A dragonfly can fly 40 meters in 5 seconds. Who can fly faster and by how much? So, again, we are comparing 2 unit rates. Okay? Who can fly faster and by how much? So I'm going to start with splitting my work in half. So I'm just going to write B for butterfly and D for dragonfly. Cut it in half there. So let's look at it. Who can fly faster and by how much? Well, I want to know how many meters they can travel per second. Right? That's speed. How fast do you travel, or how far do you travel in a certain amount of time? So I'm going to start with the butterfly. We have meters per second. Okay? Meters per second. That's what speed is. How far can you travel in a certain amount of time? So the butterfly, the 30, goes with meters. So I'm going to put 30 here. And 4 goes with seconds. So I'm going to put 4 a second. Now again, I have to divide now because this means a division symbol. This means 30 divided by 4. So I'm going to set that up right here. 30 divided by 4. 4 goes into 3 0 times. 4 goes into 30 7 times. Okay, so I'm going to write a 28 here. Again, I'm showing you decimal questions. So we get 2, the 0 drops. 4 goes into 20 5 times. I get 7.5. So I'm just going to write that here so I can see it. 7.5 meters per second. That's how fast the butterfly flies. Now I'm going to do the dragonfly. I have meters per second. And I'm going to find my information I need to find. Here I have 40 that goes with meters. Here I have 5 that goes with seconds. Well, 40 divided by 5, again, let's You can set it up like this if you need to. Hopefully you know 40 divided by 5 is 8. So the dragonfly flies 8 meters per second, and the butterfly flies 7.5 meters per second. So it says who flies faster and by how much. Well, I know the dragonfly flies faster. Someone write dragonfly. And this would be a multiple choice question where you might see dragonfly by blank, butterfly by blank, and you need to pick it out. So we know that our answer should include the dragonfly is faster. Now by how much? Well, to compare these, I need to subtract. 8.0 minus 7.5. And if you do this, you're going to have to borrow here. You get 10. You get 0.5. So the answer is the dragonfly by 0.5 meters per second. I know a lot of you are probably thinking that was a long way to get what you think is a simple answer, but being able to show it like this shows, one, you understand it deeply, and will help you with all of the RP problems going forward. If you feel like you do not understand, I encourage you to ask your teacher or to rewind and check the video out again.